My wife declared, "We've decided you're getting divorced." With her friends standing there, I said, "Okay," and walked out. 2 weeks later, she was crying outside my hotel room, saying I destroyed her life. Can you imagine sitting down at your own dining room table, like you're about to get fired, only for your wife to casually announce she wants a divorce? With her 3 best friends nodding along like it was some heroic act? That's exactly what happened to me, and trust me, it was just the beginning of a cold, calculated game I never saw coming. I just looked at her, deadpan, and said, "Okay." Then I grabbed my keys, walked out the door, and set in motion the most meticulously planned 2 weeks of my life. Trust me, you're going to want to buckle up for this one. I'm Luke, 37, a corporate logistics manager here in Phoenix. My job isn't glamorous, but it pays the bills, about $95,000 a year, plus bonuses. I make sure thousands of products move without a hitch. I started at this company 12 years ago, busting my butt in a warehouse, taking online courses, learning everything I could. It was a grind, but it paid off. And that grind, that constant need to stay calm under pressure, to have a backup plan for everything, that mindset ended up saving my life. My dad instilled in me the value of protecting what you build. He saw his own brother lose everything in a brutal divorce back in the 90s. House, retirement, business, carved up like a Thanksgiving turkey. Dad's words always echoed, "Luke, protect what you build before bringing anyone else into the equation. If the relationship's solid, she won't care whose name is on the paperwork. If she does care, that tells you everything." That advice was prophetic. The house I live in? I bought it solo, 3 years before I even met my ex-wife. $40,000 down, 30-year mortgage, my name on the deed. It represented years of sacrifice, of driving a paid-off sedan, of choosing long-term security over instant gratification. I met Anna, 35, about 9 years ago at a barbecue. She was an executive assistant at a law firm, seemed driven. We clicked. Dated for 2 years, then I proposed. She said yes, genuinely excited. We married 8 months later. The wedding was nice, not extravagant. We talked about kids eventually, but it always got pushed off. Looking back, I think we both subconsciously knew the foundation wasn't as solid as we pretended. The first 6 years of our marriage were functional, stable, comfortable. Not exactly a romance novel, but it worked. We split bills proportionally, went on decent vacations, had our routines. Anna handled social stuff. I took care of the house and finances. A classic division of labor. But about 8 months ago, things started to shift. Small things at first. Anna became hypercritical. The way I loaded the dishwasher was inefficient. My work schedule showed I didn't prioritize us. I didn't communicate enough. Every conversation felt like an evaluation, and I was always found lacking. The woman who'd been fine with our dynamic for 6 years suddenly had a running list of grievances. Then came the friend group. Anna joined a yoga studio and became incredibly close with 3 women, Lauren, Kristen, and Beth. At first, I encouraged it. People need friends. But it quickly morphed into something else, something that felt less like friendship and more like a cult recruitment. These weren't casual coffee dates. These were full-day Saturday sessions, weeknight meetups until 11 p.m. She was constantly giggling at her phone with them, even when I was 2 feet away trying to talk to her. If I walked into the room while they were video chatting, the conversation would either stop dead or suddenly become generic. They'd look at me, not overtly hostile, but like I was an outsider interrupting something vital, classified. I'm not a controlling person, but the whole dynamic just felt off. 4 months ago, Anna dropped a bomb. We were getting ready for bed, and she said, "Lauren says I've been settling for mediocrity." Just like that, while brushing her teeth, like she was commenting on the weather. I asked what she meant. She brushed it off. "Oh, nothing specific. Just discussing life choices, not limiting yourself." Was I the mediocrity? "Don't be so sensitive," she said. I let it go. My first mistake. When you've been married for years, you develop this habit of letting small slights slide because addressing every single one would turn your marriage into a constant, exhausting battle. You pick your battles, right? Turns out, some battles need to be fought immediately. The friend group's influence escalated. They had these empowerment sessions, reading self-help books with titles like Reclaim Your Power, Breaking Free from Comfortable Chains, and You Deserve More, rejecting mediocrity in love and life. There's nothing wrong with self-improvement, but these books all had the same underlying theme. Your current relationship is probably holding you back. You're settling. Real fulfillment requires dramatic change. Being comfortable is a trap. It reframed normal compromises and stability as oppression. Anna started comparing our lives to theirs. Lauren was dating an entrepreneur, fancy dinners twice a week. Kristen's husband got a big promotion, bought her a new car. Beth was traveling constantly. Meanwhile, I was boring old Luke, coming home at a reasonable hour, paying the mortgage, suggesting we save instead of financing a luxury vacation we couldn't afford. The shift in her attitude was gradual, but undeniable. I went from being a good partner to being the obstacle preventing her from living her best life. Not because I'd changed, but because her reference point had shifted to some idealized version she'd constructed with her friend's help. Then came the nuclear moment. 2 weeks ago, Friday evening, around 6 p.m. I pulled into the driveway after a long week. All I wanted was to decompress, order takeout, watch a movie with Anna. Normal weekend stuff. The moment I walked through the door, I knew something was wrong. Anna was at the dining room table with Lauren, Kristen, and Beth. Coffee mugs in front of them, this palpable energy in the room, anticipatory, almost excited. "Hey," I said, setting my bag down. "Didn't realize we had company." "We need to talk," Anna said. Not, "Hey, honey, how was your day?" Just a flat, declarative statement. The three friends were staring at me with expressions that were half sympathy, half satisfaction, like they were watching some dramatic season finale. "Okay," I said slowly, reading the room. "Should we talk privately?" I gestured toward the bedroom. "No, sit down. They're here for support." My gut screamed. This wasn't normal. "You don't need moral support for vacation plans." I sat down. The four of them on one side, me alone on the other. It felt less like a marriage discussion and more like an intervention, or a job review where the decision had already been made. Anna took a deep breath, glanced at her friends for encouragement, then launched into what was clearly a prepared speech. "We've been doing a lot of work on ourselves lately," she began. "Personal growth, self-reflection, and we've come to realize that we deserve more from our relationships than what we're currently getting." I caught the "we" immediately. This wasn't about our marriage. This was some group decision that just happened to involve my life. "What exactly does that mean?" I asked, keeping my voice level, though my heart was pounding. "It means I want a divorce." The room went silent. 5 long seconds. I just sat there, processing. I wasn't shocked, not exactly. Somewhere deep down, I'd felt us drifting. But the casual way she delivered it, like she was announcing she wanted to switch to a new gym, with her cheerleading squad present for her brave decision, that was surreal. "A divorce," I repeated, just to make sure. "Yes. I've outgrown this relationship. You're a good person, Luke, but we're not compatible anymore. I need someone who challenges me intellectually, who sees me as a true equal, who pushes me to grow instead of keeping me comfortable." "I'm sitting right here, Anna," I cut in, my voice dangerously calm. "You can skip the prepared speech you rehearsed with your support group." Her eyes flashed with anger. "This isn't a speech, Luke. This is me being honest about my needs for the first time in years." That's when Lauren chimed in. "She deserves to be happy, Luke. You can't blame her for that." I turned to Lauren, my gaze ice cold. "I wasn't aware I was having this conversation with you. This is between me and my wife." Kristen immediately jumped in. "We're here because this is incredibly hard for Anna. She needs support. The least you could do is be respectful." The absurdity was almost comical. My wife just announced she was divorcing me, with her personal cheerleading squad there to back her up, and I was the one being told to be respectful. "Okay," I said, standing up slowly. "If that's what you want, Anna, then okay." She blinked, clearly thrown off. "That's it? You're not going to fight for us? Try to change my mind. You just announced you want a divorce. You have 3 friends here to support you in case I got upset or disagreed. You've obviously thought this through and made your decision. What exactly am I supposed to fight for at this point? I grabbed my keys and wallet. You want emotion? Here it is. I'm not interested in being part of whatever social experiment you and your empowerment group are running. You want a divorce? Fine. We'll handle it through lawyers, like adults. I'll be staying somewhere else tonight. Beth actually scoffed. Wow. So you're just going to abandon her when she's being vulnerable and honest about her needs? I looked at Beth like she'd just said the earth was flat. She's divorcing me, Beth. That's literally her choosing to end the marriage. But sure, frame it however makes you feel better about your role in this. I walked out the front door, got in my car, and drove to an extended stay hotel. Checked in for a week. My phone buzzed nonstop. Texts from Anna. They started angry. You just walked out? We need to talk about this. Then shifted. I don't understand why you're being so cold. Then manipulative. I didn't think you'd just give up on us. I didn't respond to a single one. Instead, I did what I do best in a crisis. I planned. First call was to my best friend, Tyler. He works in commercial real estate and has seen plenty of divorces. I gave him the full rundown. Dude, that's completely insane, he said. Her friends there like it was a press conference. He told me to get a lawyer immediately, and then he dropped a bombshell I'd been trying to ignore. Bro, I hate to say this, but you should probably check if she's cheating. That whole setup, the backup, the rehearsed speech, it screams guilty conscience trying to control the narrative. The thought had crossed my mind. Tyler was right. The pattern fit. Sudden personality change, time away from home, friend reinforcement, staged divorce announcement. Saturday morning, I started investigating. Not with a private detective, just by paying attention to details. I still had full access to our joint credit card. I scrolled through recent transactions. That's when I found them. Repeated charges at the Marriott downtown, specifically every Tuesday and Thursday for the past 8 weeks. Room service, parking fees, bar tabs. Anna supposedly worked from home on those days. I cross-referenced the hotel dates with our shared digital calendar. Every Tuesday and Thursday, she had client meeting or focus time, do not disturb, blocked off from 1 to 5 p.m. But Anna was an executive assistant. She scheduled meetings. She didn't have clients. I kept digging. Another pattern. Charges at an upscale men's clothing store. $340, then $280 a few weeks later. Designer stuff. Anna doesn't have a brother. Her dad lives in Florida. Who is she buying expensive men's clothing for? The evidence was mounting, but I needed confirmation. Then I remembered, we had an old iPad. Anna sometimes used it. If she'd signed into iCloud and hadn't logged out, if message syncing was enabled. Sunday afternoon, while Anna was out with her friends, I drove back to the house, let myself in quietly, grabbed the iPad from its charging dock, and left. Total time inside, 8 minutes. Back at the hotel, I powered up the iPad. Low expectations, but there it was. She was still logged in, and messages were actively syncing. That's when I found it all. Months of conversations with someone named Blake. The messages were exactly what you'd expect from an affair. Can't wait to see you Tuesday, counting down the hours. He has absolutely no idea, and honestly, I don't think he'd care if he knew. You make me feel alive in ways he never could. Blake, according to context clues, was a personal trainer at Anna's gym. The cliché would be almost funny if it wasn't my actual life falling apart. I scrolled back. The messages went back 7 months. Friendly gym banter, then flirty texts, then lunch, then twice-weekly hotel sessions. One message, from 6 weeks ago, stood out. Once you tell him you want the divorce, we can finally be together properly without all the sneaking around. You deserve someone who appreciates you for who you really are, not someone who keeps you in a comfortable cage. So, this entire divorce announcement wasn't some genuine epiphany. This was Anna clearing the path for her relationship with Blake, simultaneously painting herself as the victim of an unfulfilling marriage. The friend group dynamic made perfect sense now, too. They weren't just supporting her decision. They'd been actively helping her justify the affair by reframing it as self-empowerment. I methodically took screenshots of everything. Didn't delete a thing. Didn't log out of the account. Just saved the evidence to my phone and laptop. Then I carefully put the iPad back exactly where I found it. Monday morning, I had an appointment with Patricia, a divorce attorney Tyler recommended. She specialized in cases where one spouse tried to gain an unfair advantage. I walked into her office with a folder, printed screenshots, credit card statements organized by date, a detailed timeline. Patricia reviewed everything, then leaned back with a slight smile. Okay, this is actually more straightforward than a lot of cases I see. Arizona is a no-fault state, so the affair itself doesn't directly impact the financial settlement. But it absolutely matters for context and negotiating leverage. What happens next? I asked. The house is entirely yours, she stated. Purchase before marriage, deeds solely in your name, mortgage from your account. Not marital property. Your retirement accounts have premarital contributions that remain yours. Everything acquired during the marriage is community property. But given she initiated this, is involved with another man, and clearly wants out quickly to pursue that relationship, my assessment is she'll accept a reasonable settlement to expedite the process. I authorized Patricia to file the divorce petition immediately. By Tuesday afternoon, Anna was officially served at the house. That's when her confident decision-maker attitude completely flipped to panicked crisis mode. My phone exploded with calls, texts, voicemails. I let every single one go unanswered. You filed for divorce? We were supposed to talk about this first. You can't just make this decision unilaterally. The irony was so thick, you could cut it with a knife. She'd announced the divorce with her friends present like it was already decided, but now that I'd actually filed, suddenly we needed to discuss. Wednesday morning, she showed up at my hotel. The front desk called, "Mr. Patterson, there's a woman in the lobby claiming to be your wife. Should we send her up?" "No, thank you. I'm not receiving visitors." I could hear Anna getting louder in the background. "I have a right to speak with my husband." Thursday, she tried ambushing me at work. My assistant intercepted her before she got anywhere near my office. "I'm sorry, ma'am. Mr. Patterson is in back-to-back meetings." I wasn't in meetings. I was watching the security camera feed as Anna argued with my receptionist for 15 minutes before finally leaving, fuming. Friday afternoon, exactly 1 week after her carefully orchestrated divorce announcement, Tyler sent me a screenshot. Anna had posted on social media, "Going through one of the most difficult times of my life as my marriage ends. So incredibly grateful for my support system and for finally having the courage to choose myself. Sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the exact same thing. Trust the journey." The comments section was predictably full of "You're so brave" and "Proud of you for prioritizing your happiness." Lauren, Kristen, and Beth were all there, cheering her on. But Tyler had sent me something else, Blake's Instagram post, also from that day. "New beginnings with someone incredibly special. Life's too short to waste time settling for mediocrity when real connection is possible." They had gone completely public with their relationship, while we were still legally married. While divorce proceedings were literally just starting. While I hadn't even responded to Anna. The audacity. Patricia called me that same Friday. "Your wife's attorney reached out to discuss settlement terms." What are they proposing? Nothing remotely reasonable, which is standard. They want the house sold and proceeds split 50-50ths. Half your total retirement. And ongoing spousal support. Classic overreach. What's our counteroffer? House remains entirely yours. Legally bulletproof. Retirement split based solely on contributions made during the marriage. Her retirement gets the same treatment. No spousal support. You have comparable earning potential, no kids. Clean break. Both parties walk away with what they brought in, plus their fair share of marital assets. File it. The settlement offer did not go over well. Patricia reported back that Anna's attorney pushed hard, but our documentation was airtight. The house was mine. Period. My premarital retirement contributions were protected. 7 years of marriage wasn't long enough for ongoing support in Arizona. Week 2 after the divorce announcement. That's when everything really imploded for Anna's carefully constructed new life. First, Blake apparently got cold feet. Tyler, through a mutual friend who knew Blake's ex-wife, heard that the ex immediately filed for a custody modification when she saw Blake's public Instagram posts about dating a married woman. She argued to the court that Blake was showing poor judgment. Blake, suddenly facing reduced custody time and increased child support, backed way off Anna. Her social media posts shifted from confident declarations to increasingly desperate platitudes. Sometimes people show you exactly who they are when circumstances get difficult. Real love doesn't run away when things get complicated. The friend group started imploding, too. Kristen's husband found out about the empowerment sessions and what they'd really been: strategy meetings for planning affairs and exits. He filed for divorce himself, citing Kristen's affair with a coworker. Lauren's long-term boyfriend moved out after she tried pulling the same divorce announcement stunt. He had texts proving she'd been seeing someone else. Suddenly, the supportive sisterhood wasn't so supportive anymore. When everyone's dealing with their own consequences, there's no energy left to prop up someone else's drama. Friday evening of week 2. Anna showed up at the hotel again. This time, when the front desk called, I agreed to meet her in the lobby. Not out of sympathy, but because I wanted to see firsthand how her confident decision-making was holding up. She looked absolutely terrible. Hair unbrushed, eyes swollen and red, ratty sweatpants. Nothing like the put-together woman who'd announced our divorce with her audience. We need to talk, she said, her voice shaky. I'm listening. This has completely gotten out of hand. I never wanted things to go this way. How exactly did you want things to go, Anna? My voice was calm, almost detached. You announced you wanted a divorce in front of 3 witnesses. I filed for divorce exactly like you asked. This is literally what you requested. I thought we'd talk about it first. Work through our issues. Work through what, specifically? Your 7-month affair with Blake? The dozens of hotel meetings you charged to our joint credit card? The lies about working from home while you were actually with your personal trainer? Her face went completely white. How did you? Doesn't matter how I found out. What matters is you made your decision. You wanted out of this marriage. You wanted to be with Blake. You got exactly what you asked for. I'm just facilitating your stated goal as efficiently as possible. Blake and it's not what you think. I have screenshots, Anna. 7 months of messages. Credit card statements showing twice-weekly hotel visits. I know exactly what it was. She started crying. It would have been more effective if I hadn't spent the past week processing the betrayal. I made a mistake. I got caught up in something and didn't know how to stop it. But I don't want to lose everything we built together. You chose to cheat. You chose to lie about it for 7 months. You chose to plan that whole theatrical divorce announcement with your friends instead of having an honest conversation with me. Every single one of those choices has consequences. But the house was supposed to be ours. We built a life there together. The house is mine. Purchased 3 years before I met you. Mortgage payments from my account. Your name was never on the deed. That's not fair. I almost laughed. What's not fair is you conducting a 7-month affair while planning your exit strategy. What's not fair is you trying to take half of everything I built before you came along. You want to talk about fair? I could drag this affair through court proceedings publicly. I could make sure everyone in your professional and social circle knows exactly why the marriage ended. Instead, I'm offering you a clean exit with what you're legally entitled to. I can't afford my own place on just my salary. You should have considered that before sleeping with your personal trainer twice a week in hotel rooms charged to our joint credit card. She tried several more tactics: bargaining, promises, deflection, straight-up lies. I listened with the same calm detachment I use when vendors try to renegotiate contracts after missing deliverables. Let them exhaust all their arguments, then calmly restate the original terms. Patricia sent you a fair settlement offer, I said when she finally ran out of steam. It gives you exactly what you contributed during the marriage and your fair share of jointly acquired assets. I keep what I had before you arrived. Sign it, and we're done in 60 days. And if I refuse to sign? Then we go to court, where I present detailed evidence of a 7-month affair conducted with marital funds, and your attorney tries to convince a judge why you deserve more than the law entitles you to despite that conduct. Your choice. She signed the settlement agreement 3 days later. Patricia confirmed that Anna's attorney had made one last attempt to negotiate, but the evidence made it impossible. The house documentation was ironclad. The retirement account divisions were mathematically fair. There was no legal ground to demand more. The settlement was straightforward. Anna got her share of marital assets, about $23,000 from joint savings, and her portion of jointly purchased furniture. I kept the house, my premarital retirement funds, and my vehicle. She kept her car and her own retirement accounts. No support payments, no ongoing financial obligations. A clean, legal separation that reflected the reality of our situation. The next month was pure logistics. Separating bank accounts, dividing furniture, movers getting her stuff out of my house. Anna moved in with Beth temporarily. Her social media went completely quiet. No more empowerment posts. No more brave declarations of choosing herself. Blake's Instagram scrubbed all mention of her entirely. Through Tyler's network, I heard Anna tried getting her position back at the law firm, but it was filled. She ended up taking an administrative role at a medical office, making about 30% less than before. The friend group completely collapsed. Kristen was going through her own divorce. Lauren had been dumped. Beth's husband apparently put his foot down about the entire toxic dynamic. The support system that had enabled Anna's decisions evaporated the moment everyone started facing individual consequences for their collective terrible advice. Meanwhile, I threw myself into work with renewed focus. Without the constant background stress of a deteriorating marriage, my performance actually improved. I got promoted to senior logistics manager with a $12,000 salary increase and better bonuses. The divorce was finalized exactly 60 days after she signed. Patricia sent me an email. "Congratulations, you're legally single again. Go live your best life." I took Duke, my dog, for an extra long walk that evening. I even stopped by the animal shelter where I adopted him and donated the money I would have spent on Anna's half of the house. Seemed like better karma. 3 months after the divorce, I ran into Lauren at a grocery store. She looked genuinely embarrassed, tried to make awkward small talk. "Hey, Luke. How have you been?" "Good. You?" "Honestly, it's been rough. I didn't realize how much we'd all screwed up until it was too late." "Yeah," I said. "Consequences have a way of clarifying reality." She hesitated, then said, "For what it's worth, I'm really sorry." We genuinely convinced ourselves we were helping Anna find happiness, but looking back, we weren't helping her at all. We were just validating her worst impulses and enabling terrible decisions. I appreciate the honesty. Anna asks about you sometimes, wonders how you're doing if you're dating anyone. She can keep wondering. I paid for my groceries and left. Some apologies come too late to fix anything. For months post-divorce, my life has settled into a comfortable routine that actually makes me happy instead of just functionally content. Work is great. The house is entirely mine, decorated exactly how I want it. And Duke? Best decision I've made in years. So, I want to know, what would you have done in my place? Have you ever had friends try to steer your relationship down a toxic path? Tell me what you think in the comments below. I really want to hear your stories and insights.